Nothing is more important than a power source that gives life to a device to make them work. But what is the appropriate solution we should take if a power supply fails to work? So let's try some diagnostic procedures we can do to find out the root cause of the problem. Good day everyone, Jeffrey Antonico Diaz here, and this is the significance of old school technology. A power supply is responsible for feeding electricity to all the devices in a computer. Electrical power helps maintain the proper functioning of all components in a computer system. So before we proceed further, let's try to evaluate some of the most popular terminologies. Uninterruptible power supply is a type of electrical apparatus that provides emergency power to a load when the input power source fails. Compared to automatic voltage regulator, it cannot provide backup power when the power source is interrupted. It is because that ABR is designed only for voltage instability. A power supply unit converts alternating current to low voltage regulated direct current power for the internal components of a computer. One of the best examples of a power supply unit is Advanced Technology Extended, which is used in the latest version of desktop computers. The Advanced Technology Extended, or commonly known as ATX, is a motherboard and power supply configuration specification developed by Intel in 1995 and has been revised numerous times. The ATX power supply is the upgraded version of AT power supply to improve the previous de facto standards for older designs. The ATX power supply provides 5-volt standby power so that the standby functions on the computer and certain peripherals are powered. I'm preparing the following materials that we are about to use for this activity. So before we proceed, plug the extension cord into the outlet. The reason for continuity checking with an analog multimeter is to determine whether the circuit you're testing is closed or open. We also avoid short circuits with a continuity check procedure. So let's try to select the ohmmeter and test the continuity of the power cord. Next is the solid wire that we will use later in this activity. In your multitester, select the AC voltmeter and then test the voltage value of the extension cord. Note, use the much higher expected value before placing the test probe. As you can see, the value is most likely equal to 245 volts. Note, the measured voltage value is not accurate since the tester I'm using is not yet calibrated. Plug in the uninterruptible power supply to the extension cord. Turn on the power button of the UPS and then test the output voltage. the previous voltage value is congruent to the output voltage of UPS. After the series of testing, let's try to connect the power cord to the UPS and then test the output voltage. As expected, the value of output voltage is consistent. Now that we are finished testing the power source, let me define first the meaning of the ATX power connector. The ATX power connector is designed for the 24-pin ATX power supply plug to fit in only one orientation. Okay, so let's try to diagnose the ATX power supply. Connect the green wire to the gray wire by placing the jumper wire inside the connector and then plug the power cord. As you can see, the ATX power supply is working. In my class, we call this technique GR because the first two letters of the colors green and gray are G and R. Let's try some alternatives. Similar to the previous method, we also need to use a jumper wire to turn on the ATX power supply. But in this case, we are about to connect the green and black wires. Again, the ATX power supply is working. Okay, so let's try to check another ATX power supply and do all the testing methods. As expected, the second ATX power supply is in good condition. After checking the ATX power connector, so let's try to define what is a Molex connector. Molex connector is the most commonly used power connector that provides both 12V and 5V power to supply different storage devices such as hard disk drives and optical disk drives. It has two rounded corners and two sharp corners to ensure that it properly fits a device. Now, let's try to check the output voltages of the 4-pin peripheral power connector. To check the output voltage of the Molex connector, place the test probe in the appropriate color. Note, black test probe to the black wire. Black wire symbolizes as ground or negative value of the electricity in a circuit. Now that we learned the fundamental technique of diagnosing the efficiency of the ATX power supply, let's try to check your understanding. Instruction: choose the letter of the best answer. Number 1. A blank is responsible for feeding electricity to all the devices in a computer. Letter A. Automatic voltage regulator. Letter B. Power supply. Letter C. Uninterruptible power supply. Letter D. All of the above. Number 2. It helps maintain the proper functioning of all components in a computer system. Letter A. Alternating current. Letter B. Direct current. Letter C. Electrical power. Letter D, voltage. Number 3. It is a type of electrical apparatus that provides emergency power to a load when the input power source fails. Letter A, automatic voltage regulator. Letter B, power supply. Letter C, uninterruptible power supply. Letter D, all of the above. Number 4. It cannot provide backup power when the power source is interrupted. Letter A, automatic voltage regulator. Letter B, power supply. Letter C, uninterruptible power supply. Letter D, all of the above. Number 5. It is designed only for voltage stability. Letter A, automatic voltage regulator. Letter B, power supply. Letter C, uninterruptible power supply. Letter D, all of the above. Number 6. A blank converts alternating current to low voltage regulated direct current power for the internal components of a computer. Letter A, automatic voltage regulator. Letter B, power supply unit. Letter C, uninterruptible power supply. Letter D, all of the above. Number 7. It is one of the best examples of a power supply unit which is used in the latest version of desktop computers. Letter A, advanced technology. Letter B, advanced technology extended. Letter C, unregulated power supply. Letter D, all of the above. Number 8. This is a motherboard and power supply configuration specification developed by Intel in 1995 and has been revised numerous times. Letter A, advanced technology. Letter B, advanced technology extended. Letter C, unregulated power supply. Letter D, all of the above. Number 9. It is used for continuity checking with an analog multimeter to determine whether the circuit you're testing is closed or open. Letter A, AC voltmeter. Letter B, ammeter. Letter C, DC voltmeter. Letter D, ohmmeter. Number 10. It is used to avoid short circuits with a continuity check procedure. Letter A, AC voltmeter. Letter B, ammeter. Letter C, DC voltmeter. Letter D, ohmmeter. That's all for now. Thank you very much for your continuing support of this channel. See you in the succeeding episodes of this series. May God bless us and don't forget to subscribe.